was like Spike or a Justin Amash. Like, we went live just off the rip. There we go.
Yes,
he wanted to catch me saying,
barking, like, "Hey, where are y'all on live?"
Marcus trying to catch me slipping, making some.
I wasn't trying to catch you slipping. I was trying to catch some gems that we could drop upon our audience, and we are live. This is the Black Powder Podcast, the only real libertarian podcast to ever exist on this planet, in this universe, in the cosmos, under God's glory, as it has been ordained upon me to be the only real libertarian to bring you the message of liberty. My name is Marcus Matthews, and today I am joined by my co-host who was here last week with me, and I truly thank him for coming on last week and providing your valuable insight. That's Eric Parker, Bold Liberty. How are you doing today, Eric?
I'm doing good. Hey, I want to give a shout out to our newest sponsor, my local North Carolina distillery. Remember, it ain't real moonshine if you're paying taxes. That's all I got to say.
I love it. And today, I want to harken back to last week when we had one of the biggest guests that we've ever had on this podcast, Justin Amash. It was awesome. And I want to say it was a beautiful experience for a couple reasons. One, because it was Justin Amash. And two, because I didn't have to look at his face. And with that being said, I want to introduce you to my other host, because we're not co-hosts, we're hosts. I want to make that clear to everybody. Tub from JVille.
First off, I believe that you should be thankful I wasn't on, because then it made it seem like you knew what was going on. So, because if I'm here, they all go, I don't think Marcus knows how to do this thing. Then, more importantly, can I be, since you proclaimed yourself to be the only true libertarian, and you actually used the word ordained. So is it possible then that I can self-proclaim to be the only true Christian libertarian then? Can I take on that moniker? It worked for you.
Yeah, so no, he can. Because I don't have any I wouldn't know if that would be see, I always sucked at it. That's not an adjective, putting Christian in front of libertarian, right? That's an
extra
what is that? I don't
know.
Does anybody know the grammatical term if you use a noun to describe a noun?
Look, I barely passed English in the 4th grade, so I ain't the guy to ask.
What language do you speak natural? What was your first language?
No, it was English. That's the bad part. It was American.
Okay. See, Joe's already coming. He's already coming in with the high stuff tonight. I thought that was my specific domain.
Do you see this horrible stuff that Joe was trying to say? That Trump is the only real Christian libertarian, except for Trump is neither of those.
Well, there's no proof of either of those. How about that?
I do have proof. I have a piece of proof, because he said 2 Corinthians when they asked him about the Bible.
Yeah.
Now, I grew up.
Marcus bought his Bible, so Marcus, hold up your Trump Bible. I'm just kidding. There you go. Well, is that what you would put your hand on when you were being sworn in?
That's what I put in my hand when I'm dealing with threats to my liberty. Yeah.
When you're peeling muffin cats back.
Yeah. But when like I said, I grew up in a church. My dad was a deacon. From about 5 years old, I knew it was called 2 Corinthians. And
that's the only thing you walked away knowing.
That's pretty much it. That and John 3:16 because of football.
Hey, Marcus, serious question, Marcus, and I don't want to get too religious. I don't want to blend religion and politics, but if you look at my social media, that's basically all it is. But are you a Christian or a believer or religious? What's your religion?
I'm like the founders. I'm more agnostic about the whole situation.
Okay. Hold on. The founders were deists, not agnostic.
Yeah, that's probably what I should have said.
Okay.
Because I thought it was quite because I believe, like what Thomas Jefferson said, not my guy. I don't F with Thomas Jefferson.
He was cool with your people.
Yeah, apparently.
He needed them.
Well, that's a very interesting. Because I didn't know that Sally Hemings was his wife's half sister for a long time growing up. I didn't know that at all.
I don't know who that is now.
I don't know
real
what
quick,
you're talking about.
Hemings was the slave that he impregnated.
Black lady.
Oh.
Was his sister though?
Is that your people?
She was half sisters with his wife who passed away. And the historical, they said she fared like her sister because obviously his father-in-law was the sire of Sally Hemings. So they were around the same age. They looked alike, except Sally Hemings was half black. And so when his wife passed away, if that's the truth, after his wife passed away, he gravitated towards her because
she looked like his wife.
She looked like his.
As long as he wasn't dabbling before his wife passed, I don't see
we don't know that. No, nobody knows that for sure.
I would say you hear a lot about how they actually were. Like, they weren't just spending time with the wife; they was heading outside a little bit too.
He was taking that chocolate. Yeah.
I mean, this is the intro to the Black Powder podcast. We could stray off upon historical topics to educate our audience on matters that they may not have known about. And if they know extras, like Joe said, she was hotter. Obviously, the black girl was hotter.
Well, I got to see pictures or paintings. Could you do a screen shit that now? Careful. Clear your tabs before you do it.
Well, we're not going there right now.
All right. Okay. All right. Yeah. Delete.
Yeah. So as I was saying, the Black Powder podcast.
Suggesting that she wore warmer clothes?
No. Mm-hmm. She probably had that.
She lived in Southern California.
Yeah. Just looking hot as all get up. No pics back then. We only have portraits. But today we just wanted to bring you a. That's what I'm talking about.
Get it.
Obviously, we don't have a guest tonight, but we wanted to talk to you about this current week coming off our Justin Amash episode. There's been a lot of things that's happened since the last time we spoke with y'all. And obviously, Monday was the biggest one of all. And from my perspective, it was Martin Luther King Day. So what did you guys think about Monday?
I had to go to work. No, I was off. Really? I took it off. Yeah.
Okay. You took it off. But
yeah, I was driving back from Jacksonville. Me and Tub got to see each other Saturday. Was that Saturday, Tub? We hung out for most of the day in Jacksonville. Had a lot of fun. Hit some breweries, hit some local restaurants, did an escape room. Just him and I. No, I'm just kidding. Our wives were there.
Who paid for the?
They had each other. They didn't care if we were there or not. We were just the ones.
Exactly.
It didn't Trump rename that?
MLK Day to what? Inauguration Day or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Trump Day.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's T47 Day.
So we have our first segment for you tonight, proudly brought to you by the Black Powder podcast. I'm going to be posting our link to our t-shirt store, so you can go buy yourself a "I'm the only real libertarian" t-shirt to praise me. We also have the "Government Ruins Everything" t-shirt, also to praise me. But Eric, why don't you take it away?
All right, so I guess I'm going to go into. You kind of did a segue to start it off, but Trump is the new president of the United States of America. You can follow him on X at POTUS. I guess I want to get into what has been going on over the last 72 hours. How should libertarians feel about it? How'd you feel Monday? And what are you? Anyone excited about anything? If you are, comment and we'll try and bring it up. Are you disappointed at anything? And I'm going to go ahead and I guess the elephant in the room for us libertarians, a promise kind of taken care of. Ross Ulbricht has been pardoned. He got a full pardon from Donald Trump. Now, we were told he would be pardoned the first day. Now, there was a debate. Like, he took office, I think, at noon or around noon.
No.
And he didn't pardon Ross in before the evening or the start of business the next day. So a lot of people said, we'll give him 24 hours. He didn't do it within 24 hours. But is that just semantics? Or are we trying to make an actual point here? Now, I think he kind of did it like, hey, look, I'm not going to kind of show the Libertarian Party doesn't control him. But I think he truly did it as a middle finger to the FBI because they were the ones investigating him. Now, I don't know that. I digress. The important part is Ross Ulrich is home with his family right now. He got a full pardon. I was expecting him to just get a commutation of a sentence. If you don't know what happened to Ross Ulrich, he created the Silk Road, a website where if you wanted to purchase anything on the free market, you could, and you could do it with Bitcoin. He was arrested on charges of, I believe, drug trafficking, which he never sold any drugs. He just created the website that people could purchase it on. That's the only kind of stuff he was charged with. Maybe like racketeering and like other federal stuff. I think trading, false identification, because I do think he got caught with some fake passports might have bought on there. Don't know. Long story short, he served, I think, almost 11 years in federal prison, and he was pardoned. Obviously, most libertarians are happy he was pardoned, but I'll go, how do you guys feel about it, the Free and Ross situation?
Well, I got to say this. If he was arrested, why hasn't the CEO of Peterbilt or Volvo or Chevy or Ford or Nissan, how come they haven't been arrested? Because all of those brands have been used to transport drugs and everything else, any illicit activity you could think of, because the truckers have the lot lizards. And if they build a cab on the back of their semi trucks, ultimately a lot lizard is going to hop in one of those and perform some acts that are contrary to standard moral law, as according to most prostitution laws in most state codes. If we're going if they're going to punish people for providing services, there is no safety in America whatsoever. That's what I would say.
I think I saw somebody made a point like, hey, why haven't they arrested everyone in the Federal Reserve for counterfeiting? You know what I mean? But Tub, go ahead.
Wasn't it the CIA who put a bunch of guns over south of the border and then lost them and lost track of them and everything? Should they also then be among that list of people who should be getting arrested?
Yeah. Exactly.
So I looked at it and I go, all right, listen, if you broke the law, remember, laws are in place, whether we like them or not, there they are, and you still got to. I think that the penalty of it was a little harsher than it needed to be. And so if nothing else, if the people who want to complain, I can't, because a lot of people have been against it, not like libertarians, a lot of people are like, well, he's a criminal, and he did all these things, and he should be in prison still. And I go, listen, if you look at the charges and what they hold and what really happened, 11 years is a pretty long time at that point. So if nothing else, he served time. He didn't get some pro-Biden stuff where he's never going to get in trouble for it. He served real time already.
So, and his sentence was 2 life sentences plus 40 years. Now, I think, and most people do, that's an abuse of power. That's an abuse of our criminal justice system. He was never charged with a violent crime. So I think it's a total abuse of power. You know what I mean? And, us libertarians say he should have been awarded the Entrepreneur of the Year award because he had a website better than Amazon. You know what I mean? But I digress.
There's actually a lot of people making the argument that he should get back all the money that was taken from him.
Yeah, civil asset forfeiture. So if he's got a full pardon, well, they took enough Bitcoin from him that would be equal to like $18 billion today. Now, I don't necessarily want the Federal Reserve to print $18 billion out of thin air to devalue all of our dollar, but I'm sure they could at least take away some limo services from Anthony Fauci. I don't know if y'all saw, Rand Paul wrote a letter, I guess, to Trump trying to get him to remove Anthony Fauci's like private security and limo service, stuff like that. I digress. You know what I mean? Save some of that money, or just allow him to open up Silk Road 2.0.
Well, ultimately, this all boils down to one simple fact to me, and that is the government wasn't getting its cut.
That's right,
because the biggest drug dealer in the entire world is the United States government. And when you have a enterprise where it's free exchange of goods and services or whatever it may be, there's not a government on earth that's not going to want their cut. And that's simply because you exist within their defined boundaries.
So here's what's funny about that. Okay. So we decided to go get the, whatever we got, I'm going Saturday to get the pre-TSA check-in thing that you can do. And we got to go and we fill out some paperwork. It costs like $75, $76 per person to do it. And then the beauty of it is that when you go to fly or whatever, you can go into that pre-check one. And what I found out is they don't make you take your shoes off or any of that type of stuff. And I go, so is it really about safety then? So once the government says, hey, they can make a few bucks off of you, oh yeah, now you can go ahead and go. So all it is a money racket.
Yeah.
Well, that's a classic FBI sting right there, because they want to set you up. They're going to give you the pass to go do your thing, and then when they've achieved their, because like most of the terrorist busts that we've seen since 9/11. It's the FBI reaching out to people and saying, hey, I hate the government too. I wish we could bomb them. I'll give you a bomb. What do you think? Would you do it? And that's the thing.
And some borderline retarded hillbilly is like, this sounds like a great idea. Or
they
maybe
prey on the weak-minded. They're like Jedi. They're like telling, you're going to go blow up this police building. They're doing some Jedi stuff to these people of very low IQ, and then arresting them and then putting on the news, we saved you from a terrorist. But is that what they're doing with the TSA? Because who's to say some lone wolf radical person will cough up that $75, $76
right,
and come in there with a shoe bomb like Richard Reed or whatever that guy's name was and blow a hole in a 737 and bring it down, and then they'll say, whoa, we need to take a look at this TSA program and expand it a little bit more to make it even better. So, we're going to need
$50.
Yeah, we're going to need some more government.
We got to double the investigation.
So,
got to make the government bigger. We need more of your money to do so.
It's just going to cost you more to do it.
Yeah, it seems like
stuff up. It's just going to cost
seems like
more.
A terrorist loophole. We want to stop terrorism, but not that much.
Not that much. Not like completely.
We want to have some reasons why we need to take away some more liberty.
Going. We gotta have enough problems just to keep it going, because we can't shut down now.
We can't justify our existence if we get rid of the problem.
Oh, Eric, I realized I shifted the conversation. Your section is about Trump.
Well, yeah. So
sorry about that.
I'll, you know what I mean? Like, he thanked the libertarian movement for supporting him. And I just want to say, like, hey, look, that shows there is the libertarian movement. He didn't necessarily say libertarian party. Tubb can get into that later. But what are some other things that Trump's done? I'll like 3 things, or how about this? Each of us say a thing that we like. I said Ross. I think that goes for all of us. A big one he did today with an executive order, and I'm not big on executive orders if it's making the government bigger. It is signing an executive order that they are going to declassify the RFK, the JFK, and the MLK assassination files. Now, I did a little bit of digging. It's not like, boom, they're going to be on Substack this afternoon. This was just an executive order that they're going to come up with a plan, probably a committee or something to figure out how they're going to release these files. Still, I think that's one that I like. I think a lot of us are like, yo, and I think it's got a lot to do with the fact that there were 2 assassination attempts on him. And he's like, you know what? Let's see who was behind those 60-year-old freaking assassination attempts. I'm hoping there's more of that. I don't like necessarily the use of executive orders all the time to expand government, but I think this is a situation where it is a little bit more transparency on our federal government. And I also think it's the kind of thing that would have never made it through Congress without a bunch of, black marker stripes over the redacted version of the file. No, like permanent black marker stripes over the redacted version of the files that they're going to release. So, like, all right, well, white out, whatever.
Yeah, okay, that's better. Whiteout would have been a much better reference.
So that's mine. The RFK, JFK files. I think it's a good move. Do y'all got anything that you think Trump's done in the last 3 days?
I just want to expand on your point real quick because if my memory serves me correctly, which it rarely does, there was JFK stuff that was released the last Trump go round, but it was so redacted and useless, it provided no information. And like he was going to talk about UFOs. I remember that being a big announcement in his last term, and it turned out to be, well, we don't know. It was all speculation. It was all BS. So I'm a wait and see guy on that type of stuff. If they did it, and the vast majority, because it was proven the government did in fact have a hand in MLK's assassination. His family won a lawsuit on that.
Yeah.
So
civil lawsuit.
There is no question whatsoever the government did in fact help kill Martin Luther King Jr. So are we going to know the people who orchestrated it? Was it Hoover? Was it Johnson? I mean, who was involved in that? If we're going to release stuff and not name names, I don't give a crap about you releasing it. I want to know who did what and how can, if they're still around or if somebody's still around, do we hold them accountable? Or what? How do we process this information? That's what I would say to all of that. So I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I'm a wait and see guy on this particular thing.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Like, we haven't seen anything yet. I'm just hoping that this is a step toward, like, he's put it out there publicly. Now we say, hey, where are those? You said you would do this. What's going on? Let's not wait a year until people forget about this. So, yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying. What about you, Tub?
All right, so I got sidetracked looking up something else there. All right, so remember we talked earlier about what they would do about his cabinet picks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so I think that right now, I think you're sitting on 2 have been confirmed so far. I think that's where we're at right now. Is 2 have been confirmed.
I've only heard, Marco Rubio is one I know was confirmed.
Yeah, and the other one was a hang on, I had it up, I thought. The other one was full on scrub. It was like so far down the list. Marco Rubio was going to be an easy. What is going on?
Hey,
how did this happen?
The power of the internet. I only can give you. I can only give y'all libertarians 2 minutes. I'm a Republican now, so I got more important shit to be doing.
He's kind of right. You know what? I'm with him. I'm sick of us.
You know what?
2 more minutes, we're all out. Marco Rubio, I think, was the shoe-in because he's just one of them, and they don't expect a whole lot out of him or anything to change anyway. Ordinarily I don't get too caught up in them. The cabinet picks are going to be where they're going to be. But I will tell you, I don't know why, and I'm not choosing a side in this. I've always kind of liked Pete Hegseth. Like, I just kind of have. He's a decent guy, And now they're trying to dog him out by, his ex-sister-in-law was saying all this other stuff, and he fell down and got drunk at a thing. Yes.
Who
All right,
hasn't?
listen, what military man at some point had not gotten drunk and fallen down somewhere? Like
I
for
feel
real.
like that should be it's almost a
That's a prerequisite.
prerequisite
Like,
to
you should have
be in the military. You will be dishonorably discharged if you haven't
Yeah.
gotten drunk and fallen down.
Right.
There are videos of me drunkenly singing the Army colors in Gitmo on stage in front of like battalion level leadership at a 4th of July party. And I forgot the words of the Army colors. You know what I mean? So that's how drunk I was. Anyway.
Were you wearing your leather chaps?
No, I was wearing American flag chubbies, short shorts, above the knee shorts. So yes.
Okay, and with that being said, I want to take a moment real quick to intro our long lost son, our forgotten warrior.
The
prodigal son.
He's really prodigal. See to the other side.
There you go. Yeah.
Michael White, how the hell are you doing, my guy?
I'm doing really well, Marcus. You know that I've talked to all of y'all. Like, wait, I haven't been gone that long. I just haven't been on here.
December
like,
3rd.
Wait, December 3rd. You've been keeping track.
Yes. that was good.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Man, I've been doing really well, Marcus. I'm doing very well. Busy, but well. I know that I faced a lot of criticism in the past week, but also a lot of praise too. So for those who don't know, who aren't familiar, I actually joined the Republican Party here in Arkansas. And I know, Marcus, you're really upset about it, but you're the only real libertarian anyway.
Yeah,
and so,
it's a high watermark.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. So, but no, and I was also elected as the county elections commissioner here, which is obviously close to my heart at the moment. We've had a lot of issues over the past probably decade with stuff. And so, yeah, busy and be good.
Hey, Michael, what order did that go? Did you find yourself getting into the Republican Party and then they put you into the position, or was it kind of, hey, we'll put you in? You're like, yeah, but I still think it's best for me to kind of join the Republicans.
So the law doesn't require that you are a Republican. Okay,
right.
So it doesn't require that at all. But I'll be quite honest. I don't think that I want to be able to make sure that these elections here are above board and everything is secure. That's my goal, because we talk about local nullification all the time, right? And you can't locally nullify much if you can't get good people elected, right? And we often say, like, tend to the part of the garden you can touch, like affect the things that you have the opportunity to affect. And so I received a call kind of about this maybe a couple weeks ago and had a lot of thinking to do, right? So no, I did not have to join the Republican Party. I did that because I wanted to be able to make a good case that I wasn't there for any sort of reasons other than, to make sure the election is secure. And I think that the term libertarian, as we've said before, there is, whether we like it, love it, or hate it, a certain public connotation with it. And so that's why. It's hard to, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to have the, what's the
Scarlet
pejorative
letter?
Yeah, the pejorative, it just, I've come to learn that libertarians in my state are not taken seriously. I could have the most breaking news subject, whatever going on, and you're just put down the list here. And so we're dealing with something very serious. And all of the allies that I've had in all of this have been members of the Republican Party. They supported me in my campaign very well. Many of them did. Volunteered, door knocked, put up signs, when my own party really didn't very much. And so, yeah, that's a long-winded way of saying, no, I didn't have to be one, but it was my decision to be one. Yeah.
Well,
let's make it very clear. It's not just Arkansas that thinks very little of libertarians. That spreads. I know it hits Florida also.
It's sad because I will always in my heart be a libertarian. I love the political philosophy of libertarian. I love it. I absolutely love it.
That right there makes you a Republican. When you say, really, I'm deep down, I'm a libertarian, that makes you a Republican.
Well, I do love it.
Every one of the Republicans, when we deal with them, they always come up to me, they go, Tub, I'm really basically a libertarian.
Well, maybe some of them are. There might be some that are. I know that I can only speak for myself, but I'll tell you this, and I'm going to be quite frank and honest. I said it before in this podcast. There's a lot of talk in the LP about doing things, okay? And some of that talk has been amplified into actual results in the past few days, right? But it took a coalition with Republicans to make that happen. I'm just going to be quite honest. Ross Ulbright owes his freedom to libertarians making a coalition with Republicans, because that's how things get done, whether we accept it or not. And as long as the LP wants to be focused on a candidate business but not support candidates, then this is always going to be at odds with each other. And so, yeah, it's sad. I want libertarians to be taken more seriously, but sadly they're not.
Yeah. Tub enough, he left the podcast.
Oh,
so that's a good thing.
I've had good
that's
talks
with
with
thing.
them. Well, what's interesting, man, so I'm going to put this also out there. I'm the same person I've always been. None of that has changed. There's not a single belief or view that I have changed. In fact, what's funny is at a Republican meeting, a guy said, "Do you believe in all the principles and platform of the Republican Party?" And I said, I agree with everything that doesn't contradict itself. And he said, "Well, what do you mean?" And I said, "Well, right here on page 1 of your platform, you say the Constitution is the guiding document of the Republic. I agree that it is. That individual liberty comes not from government, but we are born with it. I agree with that." I said, "But here on the back page, you call for the enforcement of all existing gun laws." And those things are incongruent in my belief. You shall not be infringed is pretty clear. So no, I don't agree with that part of it. But yeah, I'm the same person I've always been.
I just want to say incongruent again, real quick, because that's a word that I think most Americans only hear 2 to 3 times a year, if that. Because
that's the first time I've ever heard it.
Incongruent. Well, yeah, you're from Jacksonville by way of North Kakalaki, so we got to understand. I want to put this out there real quick.
He's in North Carolina
he's in North Carolina by way of Jacksonville, and I want to put this out there. I support the
Marcus is always right whenever he says anything. He's like, "No, by way of Jacksonville." Yeah,
I support the demolition of the Department of Education. Yep. Because it has failed many Americans. 3 or 4 people are currently talking to you right now, and that one person is me, that it didn't fail. And I just want to put that out there, but I want to go to that Liberty Lady's comment real quick. Promise us, Michael. And I want to do this dramatic as possible. Promise us, Michael, that you will stay principled like Thomas Massey and Justin Amash.
I think I will maybe rise above some of those principles. I'll remind you that Thomas, as good as he is, he still did vote for an unlimited debt ceiling, at one point in time. So yeah, I think that I'm the same person I've always been. Like I said,
he also is against the Jones, or he's for the Jones Act. So he's wrong about that too.
Maybe he has changed his mind since then. Who knows? I mean, I can see a case made both ways, but I'm sorry. I just think that we talk about the Jones Act and it's like, it's just got to go. I don't know why it's just programmed in my soul that it has to go. Like, if it's going to be bad, if it's gone, well, we'll figure that out like within a week, right? Exactly. I mean, if it's really going to be bad, it doesn't take long for like supply chain issues to become a major problem. So, yeah.
So, Michael, before you joined, we were on and I want to get through this segment, and now it's a big one, but good things Trump's done, bad things Trump's done since been in office. We already said he pardoned Ross Ulbricht. You mentioned it. The only other one we got to was the declassifying the files, but I've learned that that's just he signed an executive order to come up with a plan to do it. Now, that's still good. He's telling the executive branches, the intelligence agencies he is in charge of, you will make a plan to do this. Now, you know what I mean? That is kind of what an executive order is. They should never affect us citizens. They apply to the executive branches of the government that the president is in charge of. So I don't think that's necessarily an abuse of power to tell them you will do this. I don't know where you went, Michael White, when you get back.
He's still here,
right.
But he lost video.
All right, in 10 seconds or so, if you can go over how you feel about whatever executive orders you think. Okay.
Yeah.
Or whatever anything good Trump's done other than those, or you can elaborate on those if you want to.
So I think you kind of broke up for a second there. I think you're just talking about.
No, you did.
What's
we
good?
Were all here.
Well, I mean, I pay for good internet, Marcus. I don't understand. I think it's you hosting it. I know you probably got the $5 internet over there or something like that. And that's what's all minimal. I jumped in number 4 and it's like, we're just going to buffer this guy. Good stuff, bad stuff. Obviously, I think that anything that executive orders I think the only way you can fix things sometimes is with Band-Aids. So you got to repeal things that have been put in place. That's just the truth. We have this mountain of bureaucracy on the United States, right? And so you got to start by the true political way to get it done is going to be by removing pieces of paper one at a time. We all, I think, ideologically want it all gone, tabula rasa.
Incremental.
Yeah, but it's going to have to be incremental. And so there's really good actions that I think the president has taken that I can say, hey, that's a great thing in the right direction, like a hiring freeze on all federal employees. Okay, great, awesome.
Yep,
that stops the growth of the administrative state. I'm cool with that. Now, there's been some problems apparently, like some nurses that were getting offers from the VA, like they had those rescinded. So look, hey, got to tweak it. Hey, you know what? We don't want our veterans to suffer. We'll maybe make some adjustments over here. So yeah, good start on that. Obviously, a big fan of the Ross Ulbricht thing, right? I think that's huge. And I think that it's sad that more people in the liberty community aren't celebrating that. Like I've seen a lot of, yeah, well, it could have been the first 20 hours, you know, but it wasn't 24 hours. It was another day. You know, I mean, really, like we're talking about, this doesn't happen like if 2024 wouldn't have been the way it was. So I think that's pretty cool. Things I don't like, let's just talk about the elephant in the room, no pun intended. The AI, like
AI,
like mRNA thing. I don't like that. And I don't know many people who do like that, right? I'm going to hope that gets either gone or it is radically different, where it's decentralizing control of these things, not bringing more central power. And to be honest, that one is, to me, on the bad side, is almost as big as the good of Ross being right. Like this is, on one hand, we have an individual human life that was put up as sort of an example, and we've been able to right that wrong, right? But then on the other hand, like this is big. Like Tub, this is like the Antichrist, right? Quantum AI with like gene editing therapy, right? Like wouldn't that be like, I mean, that's biblical level stuff. And so you want to talk about something that needs to be decentralized. That's it for sure. I just don't know how you look at it.
Be decentralized. Before Tub chimes in with his particular brand or whatever he's going to do, I want to say
before mine, I'm last. I'm going to go check on a dog.
Yeah, no, wait, Tub, I need this for you. Sit down, because I want to say that we have achieved a balance here right now. Yeah, you're being detained right now, and I want to say there's a balance right now, because now we have Republican Michael White and liberal Democrat Tub.
I let Tub go check on his dogs. Marcus, I want to know, where are you on this? What's your favorite thing that Trump has done in the first hours, days of his presidency, and what's your least favorite?
Okay, so my favorite obviously is the Ross.
That's number one. Okay, cool. All right.
Because we talked about this before you jumped on. Why haven't they arrested the CEO of Peterbilt or Volvo? Because drugs come in on semi trucks every day.
Well, because those people like pay licenses. You know, they paid
and
they paid the tithing to the state, and that's why. We all know that's why. Yeah.
That was the second point we alluded to, is the government was mad it wasn't getting its cut of everything he did. What I dislike the most, and this is my segment that's going to be coming up, and this is Eric, are you good in your segment?
You mean? Yeah. I mean, Eric, no. Did Tubb say what he likes and dislikes about Trump?
No, I remember I just kind of mentioned about Pete Hegseth a little bit. That's all.
Gotcha. I thought you were going to say you liked him pardoning them pro-lifers.
Oh, yeah. Like when he pulled that one off earlier. But you know, the problem is, though, there was something very telling about when that happened. He had no idea.
Yeah, someone just told him, like, well, you know, I hear they're good people, man.
Yeah, he had no idea.
Dude, the press conference was really telling, right? Like, you could tell he was like, and this one does this. He's like, okay, great. Like, obviously these things are packaged, and I get that. Like, optics is packaged. I mean, national politics is gonna be packaged like that, and very. We know it's gonna be regulated and regimented, right? We should expect it. We should expect that. The surprise should be like if they're actually like, oh yeah, I wrote every word of this myself. And I've done all these. And here they are.
What that probably was someone at a fundraiser, like bend his ear a little bit. And it was like the leader of a huge pro-life organization that actually had some sway and endorsements in politics.
Yep.
Spent some time with him, told him like, hey, I'd like this. Yeah. And money. They got money. And he was like, yeah, I could do that. You know, it was an agreement. If you endorse me, if you endorse me, I'll pardon these people. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's probably what it was.
It was a senator. I'll see if I can find him. It was a senator who brought it up to him, because that's exactly what it was. Somebody got the ear of the senator, and they're like, hey, and the senator said, okay, let me see what I can do, and was able to get it through that way. I'll see if I can find out which one it was.
Gotcha.
Okay. So what I didn't like, what Trump has done so far, is he pardoned 2 Washington, D.C. police officers that initiated a chase on a guy on a scooter. The guy ended up crashing and dying. And instead of rendering aid, they started working on the stories to cover up their activities because there was no actual crime. And if anybody knows, DC police do have a bad reputation for doing bad things to people in certain neighborhoods. He pardoned both of those guys after it was proven beyond a reasonable doubt that they acted in collusion to cover up their actions to make it seem as if that U.S. citizen that they assisted in his removal from this planet physically, that they conspired to cover that up, and it was proven. And he pardoned those 2 guys today. Pardoned, not commuted. He relieved them of any responsibility that they had to killing a U.S. citizen. That's what I didn't like that Trump has done thus far.
I mean, I can see why that one would be unlikable for sure. I guess I missed that news today.
I had heard of the story. I didn't know all of the details.
Yeah. So Marcus, do you know, like, I mean, how long of sentence were these people sentenced to? How long have they been? Have they been in prison for a long time? I mean, what's going on? Like, what is the justification? Like, what is the narrative that is given on the other side of why it's a good thing?
They said Trump said they served long enough, and I think it was 2021 when they were convicted. It's somewhere around there. They served less than 4 years, and I think they didn't even get a long sentence to begin with. But for me, and I did a post on Daniel Shaver on the anniversary of his murder by the government. This is, for me, I've always been a person who looked at government as something that needs to exist, but something that doesn't need to exist, if that makes sense to
necessary evil.
I don't know if it's necessary.
Doesn't Larry Sharp refer to? I think it's Larry Sharp who refers to it as like the government should basically be like the fire department.
Yeah,
you need them in your life and all that. Just kind of mind your own business.
Because I've said this a lot of times. I haven't said it recently, but mankind hasn't been free since the Stone Age.
Yeah, I mean,
when you lived in smaller communities and you decided your path and where you were going in life based on the community you lived in. And what government has done, it has made itself omnipotent over the citizenry, and it's so egregious that it happens in a republic as we have, where government makes itself, you wouldn't be able to do anything if the government hadn't decided that you were able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you don't have freedom. You have freedom to do what the government tells you can do, as it stands right now. What the hell? What is going on with you people?
Hey, they only need us.
Well,
what do you mean, you people?
I mean, you and Michael keep blinking in and out. Tub keeps running off to chase dogs out of his room. I'm trying to make some emphatical points.
Well, just rant, brother. Just rant
about where we stand as Americans, and you guys keep disrupting me. It seems like a master plan.
Literally, I don't know how mine and Michael White's internet's connected, but mine went out. I'm telling you,
I just like unplugged everything and plugged it back in, like all the stuff.
Dude, why'd that mess up my internet? Literally, my internet went out. I had to go back and
like. So, are you getting like this big echo like on your thing right now? Is it like I have this like super long echo?
No,
I'm not right now.
Let me undo this.
No, but I'm telling you, y'all.
I'm Michael Marcus.
the feds are listening and they're trying to shut us down. That's because we were talking about TSA stuff earlier, and there was a lot of like stuff. I'm telling you, when that was going on, I was like, this is definitely getting. If we were being monetized, which not really, if we were, it's definitely getting demonetized on YouTube. I'm just saying. But anyways,
okay. I want to wait till Michael figures this.
That's the thing. Okay, let's see if that was the thing.
So we're
gonna salvage this train wreck.
I think it's like my computer did that whole stupid like shut down and update thing, and I think it messed up a driver with this like USB thing over here. So like I think that's it. Like I had to unplug some stuff and plug this in. That might have been the problem the whole time. It was just
maybe they're not fond of the Republican hang out with the think that we're going to drag you to our side.
The powers that be, yeah.
So Michael, how much did the Elon Musk pay you to leave and go Republican? You know,
Elon promised me that he was going to make it to where $15,000 Toyota trucks were available again. He's going to buy part Toyota and make. I was like, okay, well then that's fine. Burning gas, like straight pipe exhaust, lift come out of the factory, no pedestrian like regulations or anything. So he told me that, and I was like, yeah, man, I'm in. I'm game because we need more.
You're gonna get Middle Eastern terrorists, is what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm like Toyota Hilux kind of deal. We're going to get like there's literally tens of thousands of them coming.
Yeah. Yeah, with a full, we're gonna.
There's few things in the American economy at the middle class level a $15,000 reliable pickup truck wouldn't begin fixing. That's my personal opinion, you know. So
don't the Chinese, or is it that the Chinese or the Japanese that have that little truck that?
That's
the one you can import.
Oh, yeah.
You can like pick up with like 4 dudes. You can pick it up and drop it in a parking spot.
I think it's Japanese.
Over 2 guys.
Yeah, it's Japanese.
For 2 guys, they were uncrating it, and they kind of picked it up, grabbed the stuff from underneath them. Like, that's pretty legit right there.
I think Marcus is going to get
driver to go back and forth to work or something.
Marcus, are you going to get one? Or are you going to get one? Like
Japanese people aren't naturally tall. Aside from Shohei Ohtani.
What if you like cut the top of it off and like you roll it around like
so?
Like there's a toy from the 70s, guys.
Yeah, you're like
There's a company I think either in Jacksonville, Florida, or
I'm sorry, I'm just imagining one day in traffic, like you're just driving and there's Marcus in the like 3-foot Japanese pickup truck, like sticking out, like he's riding in like a Power Wheel.
Okay, all right. So here's the thing. So my old roommate was 6'11", okay, and so he was legit. Like for a little while there, he was driving cab, and he would lean against the door on this side and put his hand over on the other door. That's gonna be Marcus inside of that thing.
Please tell me he beat you up at some point in time.
He could. I was dating his sister.
Well, that's why you needed a whooping.
Well, he did it. Yeah. Did you marry her? Did you make her an honest woman?
No. This is.
He should have beat you up.
This is back when Tub was sinning in the world. This is
when I was black.
That's right, exactly.
So,
his name was Tub.
Tub said, "I can be anything I want to be. I'm going to be white." That's what Tub
that kind of leads us into our next segue. It can be anywhere, anything, or anyone you want to be, and you know that's the culture wars that we're facing as Americans right now. And what'd you say?
Good segue. I'll give you credit.
That is good.
I was shocked by the compliment. That's why I was expecting the insult. But
bated breath over here for the conclusion.
Yeah.
Look.
So you know, a lot of Trump's
Trubs. You were doing so well. You had 13
Trump, you know.
Trump. A lot of Trubs.
He couldn't nail it, could he? He was like, I got to do something to mess it up. Yeah.
They were culture war things. And you know, DI, all kinds of stuff along those lines. He reversed the order by Lyndon B. Johnson, one of the most racist presidents we've ever had in our entire existence. He never referred to my people in other terms than.
The infamous phone call regarding the vote.
He said it with a hard R.
Bill and all.
Hey, Marcus, to his credit, like the hip hop game hadn't come out yet. He didn't know, like, you know.
Yeah,
he didn't know. Remember.
He
didn't know.
Y'all could do
he
more
might
than
have.
dance.
You know, the question for history should be: did Lyndon B. Johnson have a pass? Did somebody give him like? Does he have like a real close homeboy who was like, "Look, you can say it, but I don't know what happens if you say it around other people." Because Marcus gave me a pass one time. I was like, "I ain't taking that. That sounds like a bait. That sounds like a setup right there."
Who would it have been though?
Literally a blackmail.
It would have had to been like Chuck Berry back then, the only cool brother, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that was
some stuff, right?
Mainstream.
Man, there was a lot of cool brothers. He wasn't the only cool. Man, there's all kind of cool brothers. That's the only one you know.
Yeah. Well, to white honkies in Texas.
That's all.
Like Chuck Berry is all he knew.
Do what you're going to do. You had a segue. Use your segue.
Yes. Sorry.
So, as I was rudely interrupted by my oppressors, I want to say. I just want to say, I'm not impressed with the culture war crap that we got going on in this country because it's the low-hanging, rotten fruit. This is fruit being picked up off the ground.
You just got to remember, like, it's always like I've come to accept that it's always going to be thrown now into politics.
Yeah,
like it's an easy political tactic for people to use to divide the electorate. It's very surface level. It's sprinkles on ice creams. Can it like mess something up some levels? Yeah, sure, but it's never as big of a thing as like it's kind of made out on either side to be, right? Yeah. Like the left will say like all this over here, and the right might say this, and the truth is, when it comes to culture war stuff, you're talking about very minuscule things in society that are affecting very, very few little, things here, not like substantive direct changes, because that's harder to sell, Marcus. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's always yeah.
A little while back, we were at Walmart, and my wife went walking down one of the aisles for like mascara and stuff like that. And so she went walking down. I'm like, I'm not even going down that aisle. So I just kind of waiting out there. And another guy comes walking up, and he stands next to me, and his wife is walking down the aisle.
You're not secure enough in your manhood to go down the mascara aisle, man. Like, that's
and we hold on, but we stood up there talking, and you know what it was? It was a black guy and me.
Gotcha.
I know I'm black, but I don't look it, so he didn't know I was black.
I know I got some in me too, for sure.
But I say that because, like, even though we're in the South, I still look, I go, I can go anywhere, and all these race issues they're always talking about, I'm like, where are all these
They don't, I do not, yes, exactly. I've told that to people a million times. Like, I don't know. I'm guessing like back in the day, there's a reputation and it just hangs around. But if you're a racist, the last place you want to live is the South. Like, you're going to be around black folks going to be around you. Y'all going to work together, go to church together. You're going to do all kinds of stuff together. Like, if you got a problem with it, you need to move somewhere else. Like, people aren't just sitting there going, I don't like all these black people. I never heard that in my life. Like, never one time. Except for Marcus. Because Marcus is racist about everybody. He's an equal opportunity.
Tell me that
he hates everyone equally.
And I take that as a badge of honor at this point. But I want to make 2 points real quick. The reason why Tub didn't go down the mascara aisle is because he likes to be surprised with different colors week to week. It's not a
it's like that's how his wife is like, hey, we're gonna keep it spiced up. You got green on the day or whatever. Yeah.
The only race problem
I can respect that, man. It's a married man. I can respect that. Yeah. Keep it
so the only race problem I have is you.
Well, exactly, because I'm the only black guy here. It's just like I'm the only real libertarian.
We are the ones.
Marcus is the real problem with this podcast.
Hold on. At this moment, this podcast is engaging in some like affirmative action sort of stuff, right? Because Marcus is representing 25% of the population on the podcast. That's like a double.
16, 16 tops.
Yeah, we're definitely like we're absolutely over here doing it. So Marcus,
all of you guys are DEI hires because this was my brain.
That's right, we were.
Yeah.
Marcus called and was like, "Hey, I need. You know what I need?
My podcast. Which one did that? Tom, do that.
Marcus, hold on. You said you had 2 points. Your second point better not be anything about black on black crime because you've been pretty mean to me.
No. My second point is
against black on black crime, and you talking trash on me. All right.
No, because you got to protect your hood. I don't believe in any of that.
I have a serious point to make about this DI thing, and I feel like we're having way too much fun.
My second point is actually kind of serious.
All right. So, let me if it ain't DEI, let me jump in real quick. Okay. I will say that his executive order, if it's getting rid of the DEI departments of every federal agency, with which there are like 678 federal agencies, if every one of them have a DEI department, and now all those people are fired, hey, I like it. I'm all
No,
for
but
it.
you're right. I mean, like they could have said, "Hey, we're getting rid of all the accounting departments at every federal agency because they're already spending too much money anyway." And I'd have been like, "Yeah, I mean, might as well. Like, if you
no one's counting anyways,
yeah,
you can't
they could take
pass
anything
a
out.
freaking
Like,
audit.
well, what's going to happen with the money if that were to get taxed? I'm like, you already don't know what's happening with it, and they keep printing it. So shut up. Like they're making the government smaller. That's a great point. Yeah, like anytime any office at a federal agency closes, regardless of what it is, probably a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Go ahead, Marcus.
So, the only, and I've said this to all of you at some point in time, the only place where classic American racism still exists in this country is the judicial system and the government, the way it prosecutes crimes, because all the data bears that out. I don't, a lot of people want to be like 13% of the population, 50% of the murders. I was like, okay. Maybe that data bears that out, but the data also bears out that blacks and whites do drugs at very similar clips with you people, slightly ahead of us. But you're 4 to 10 times more likely, depending on your jurisdiction, to get arrested as a black person with drugs than a white. Well, and while they try to say like 50% of the murders are committed by black people in America, 55% of the exonerations for murders are also black. And what does that tell you what's going on in the judicial system? That if you want to use these statistics, you got to use all of them. You can't just use your selective ones that complete your narrative. And so that's the last serious point I intend to make on this podcast tonight. But I just want to have people think about this in a broader aspect. We're all in the same line. Nobody knows when their time is next, because you can have your opinions on the J6 rioters or people. I have mine. I don't think they were necessarily patriots fighting for this country. I don't believe that at all. And some people do. That's your opinion, but I don't believe that. I think if there had been black people rushing the Capitol building like that, I think bullets would have been shot into the crowd. I'm not trying to be controversial, but I don't think it would have been handled the same way or completed the
well,
same way.
so Marcus, let's be honest. Let's be fair. Those two ideas aren't opposed to each other. Like these people could be, again, I think that they were patriots, and I think that I think that this is exactly what this was. And it's nobody in that crowd's fault, let's be honest, that there weren't more black folks there. Like, that's not anybody's fault there, right?
Trump wasn't black folks.
That could have been it. I was setting that one up like low-hanging fruit for Tubb, and he took it. There he goes. All right. So,
Tubb, people could have been.
This is a good point, Marcus. If one puts himself in a mental picture and say, let me imagine January 6th, and let me imagine every one of those people in the crowd now being a black person, I tend to agree with you that I think that bullets probably would have been flying. I tend to agree with you, and that means somewhere I agree that this is the sort of line of thing. Yeah.
Look, can I add a caveat to that?
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to tell you why that's true and not true.
Okay.
Okay. So if you take the riots of the summer where they were going in and there's there weren't shots fired. The cops weren't shooting them. I'm going to tell you what would make it different. Not the race of the race of people, yes, but who the victim was going to be. Okay, they would be angry at the black people because they're coming after the elites in Washington. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So let's be very clear.
There's a lot of pearl clutching going on, locking the doors.
I also
going down MLK Boulevard right now.
Yeah,
I'm being polite and holding up.
Marcus knows what I'm talking about.
I want to make a point here that it's not our fault that there were more federal agents in that crowd than there were black people. So,
that's true. Yeah.
Agent provocateur.
But no, I think Marcus, no, that's 100% a point, man.
I dislike that because it seems like when
Well, so Marcus, what do we do about it? Like, what do we
imagine
do about
if all of the FBI agents or federal agents were black agents in the crowd trying to blend in? Wouldn't that'd be hilarious?
Let me tell you this.
Like the new FBI agent, and he's like trying to blend in. What's up, fellow MAGA?
This is one of the truest stories I could ever tell you guys. My best friend since we were 14 years old. He's a sergeant. He's a PD sergeant up in the Bay Area here in California. He was lieutenant colonel in the Marine Corps, Cal Berkeley graduate.
Nice.
Stark conservative black dude. Tried to go to the FBI. They told him the FBI is too lily white for you.
Whoa.
That's what he was told. I mean, this dude is he was an Operation Iraqi Freedom veteran and all of that stuff. Impeccable record.
They probably don't want a guy like that.
Yeah,
they're like, we can't have that here. We got to have either people that, because he probably wouldn't fall in line with things.
Yeah, he wouldn't. I guarantee you.
That's why he went hard. Yeah,
because they were finally being honest. Like they're finally telling them the truth. Yeah. Like, hey, guess what? All right, fine. Usually they were complaining because they're lying. Now they're telling the truth. We're like, whoa, you shouldn't be doing that.
Well, we spoke to the FBI earlier in this episode on how most of their grand arrests and prosecutions are set up by themselves, where they tell people, we agree with you, brother. Let's blow up the Capitol.
I want to bring back to a point, because I think this is a good way maybe to end that. Is we talk about things like this a lot. Marcus, what in your opinion is the answer to that? Why do these existing sort of entrenched ideas in the zeitgeist of society continue to perpetuate? Is it like, does the system, how does in a representative republic, a system that has gotten to that place where it is, and I agree with you, how do we change it with incrementalism? I just don't see it happening. So that's a place where I can see maybe it doesn't work. Yeah.
My answer is mission impossible. Because I don't think you could do that within a duopoly and our political system as it stands right now. Because the tyranny hasn't affected enough people for Americans to realize that the government is setting precedent right now. It is telling America, like, these are your enemies, but what it's not telling America is when the pendulum swings the other way, those people are going to be telling the Americans that you are the enemy. And that's the basic relationship that Americans have with the duopoly, is this pendulum swinging back and forth and the narrative of these culture wars, because this last election cycle in 2024 was not about issues. It was about culture wars.
But again, we're going off the subject. Like how
I don't necessarily agree it's going off subject, but what my feeling is, and what you asked me is why. I think it's because we're not thinking as Americans about the best ideas anymore.
Yeah.
We're thinking about why I hate my neighbor.
Well, I think so you just nailed on the head, though. One of the reasons why there might be genuine focus on things like DEI, and why there may be genuine focus from some conservatives on these issues, even though we've already talked about the culture war stuff is sprinkles, it's always going to be on there. I tend to agree with you that the more that we talk about the separate, how everybody, is, how this person's not like you and there's no shared experience. I think in a political system, it's important to have unity, right? Like, and so we all should assume, hey, we're all Americans, we're all in this thing together. And there's not enough focus on that. There's always focus on this group here, this group here, this group here, identity politics. And so it's not like maybe that's currently being changed, but you can see what I mean by, I think that there's more allies than you think on the other side of that issue. That are pushing, that really do genuinely believe that the repeal of these policies is good and will be healing for America.
Before I pass the mic, I want to ask all three of you to use 4 words tops, to describe how we could bring Americans together. A sentence. I will say a sentence. One sentence.
We already got the sentence. It's "Make America Great Again." It's already been said, Marcus.
Absolutely.
I got hats and everything.
Hey,
Like,
You've only been at the
to be
party
fair,
for 10 days, and you're already this far in.
10?
What they do to you?
Damn. Yeah.
to be fair,
hey,
who doesn't want America to be great, right? I think
Okay.
the question becomes:
We're going to
again,
reset that question and come back to Michael.
Iraq doesn't want America to be great.
All right, so
Okay,
Eric, what is your
so-
4 words?
What's your sentence on how we bring
Although
this?
you got to let him answer.
Hey, can I one up Tub real quick? 2
Absolutely.
words. Jesus Christ. Send
That's
it.
true too. Yeah.
Okay, Tub. What's your
I
sentence on how we
suppose I
improve
can say
America?
that now.
Yeah.
What?
Nope. Hey, it's like
It's you got to be
can't repeat
original.
what I
That's
said.
libertarianism. Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right,
gotta be original.
I just say that they need true Jesus Christ.
Okay. He used the adjective.
No,
Michael,
yeah.
what's your sentence?
No, you already said it. Make America great again.
Yeah, you did already say.
That didn't count.
Focus on local nullification. I think that brings people to see their community as a community. They take care of their backyards and their neighbors, and they're doing their stuff right there. And that's how you heal the whole country. You start healing every single little city and every cul-de-sac and every neighborhood and everything else. Yeah.
Focus local.
Every HOA.
Yeah. And unfortunately, yeah.
I hate my HOAs are communism. I don't understand that in America. HOAs are socialist.
You made an agreement. You agreed to it. Libertarians
I
believe in the
I say that all the time.
I didn't know it was that
Yes,
bad.
It was in the covenants, the deed, and when you said I'm going to buy this, they said, well, there's a condition for you to buy it, which is there's restrictions on what you use it for, and you still said yes, I'll do that. So
Hey, Marcus,
smoking cigarettes. That's the second worst mistake I ever made in my life was agreeing to that crap.
For your wife is
Marcus, are you in an HOA right now?
Yes.
How many houses are in your community in your HOA?
How many what?
How many houses are in your community in your HOA?
I don't know. All I know
Marcus,
is
this is what you could do. You could go knock on every door in your neighborhood, say I'm Marcus
Matthews.
I'm the only real libertarian. I'm running for chair of the HOA, and we're going to take this over because they're focused on too much petty crap, and you can nullify your HOA.
I'm about to pass this to Tub, but I got a story for you guys, and it's
Marcus,
Marcus is avoiding getting out there and doing it. Yeah, exactly.
Marcus,
get out there.
This is your chance to be a libertarian candidate. And I will give $500 to your campaign. That should be all you need to win.
I will donate to your campaign for HOA president also.
Tub, can we get him to run for HOA president?
Yes, I will. I will definitely.
Listen, Marcus, and your slogan is abolish the HOA. That's it. And you can sell flags.
How did you know? Because they asked me, the president. Quiet, Tub.
I refuse to donate to your campaign because I refuse to back a candidate who moved into an area with an HOA. So
that's what you meant to say.
You're too stupid in the first place. So I don't.
Michael, Michael White, you got an HOA?
No, I do not. No.
Right,
so,
and I specifically bought a home in an older neighborhood that didn't have an HOA because I didn't want to be in an HOA, and so you make some sacrifices, right? You get maybe a little small house or you get this, but whatever. But nobody can tell me I can't put a 30-foot ham radio tower out in the front yard. And you know what? That might be happening. And I was telling every neighbor, look at that thing. They're like, is that messing with my TV? I'm like, if you're worried about that and all of them 5G towers around your house. My ham radio is not doing to you what it is doing.
It's gonna kill you.
Now that I finally have a chance to speak. The HOA
president. Did you just say that?
Now that I finally have a chance to speak, the HOA president wanted to appoint me because they had a vacancy to the HOA, or tell me to run. I forgot what it was.
Marcus, had you done that and you told them I'm a libertarian, we wouldn't be able to give you crap about not ever being a candidate or whatever.
Yeah, you could have been a candidate.
You don't want to know about the letters I wrote to the HOA. That's the first thing you don't want to know about.
I got
they were full of cuss words and calling them communists.
2-minute warning.
I told them if I ran for HOA, the first thing I would do is make a motion to disband the HOA because I don't believe in communism. That's the thing I told them when they asked. That is no bullshit. That is the app. God knows I said that. I said that was the first thing I would do.
Marcus, that's like you order the Uber, get in the back of it, and the driver's like, "Where do you want to go?" And you're like, "I want you to blow your car up because I think Uber is communism."
If that's what it was, that's what it was. I paid these when I first moved in here. It was $99 a month. Now it's like $250 a month. Almost 20 years later, I haven't seen an improvement in services for what I am paying these people. They do not deserve one single penny of my money.
That is the campaign speech.
They
right
do.
There.
Aside from sending me letters saying, roll up a water hose in your front yard. You can go go sideways. As far as
Marcus, we need you to run for HOA president.
I'm telling you.
This is why
I'm with Marcus.
Do it.
Yeah.
Listen, after that, I might throw a few bucks at the campaign.
I'm telling you, I got very fired up. I got very fired up. I almost now want to join an HOA.
Just so I can shut it down.
And that's why you have to be on the board.
Just be on the board. She's saying, hey, just don't worry about being leading it. Just because, hey, that's true. Yeah. Get on the board and start winning people to your side.
And because you can make that motion every time, and they don't have to second it. They have to vote again.
I will confess about this is I went around and posted letters on all the community, because we have those community mailboxes, on how the HOA would send us all letters about minuscule things, but they let squatters post up in a house on my street and put all of our lives in danger.
Is your HOA president Gavin Newsom?
I said if you believe in this,
you left your garage door open after 5. We're gonna take your house, and you're like, and what are you gonna do with it? We're gonna let all these homeless people live in it.
It was the rental, and
all right, hang on.
Okay.
So what is going on in that neighborhood that now the black man is complaining about the rentals also? Good Lord. Listen, I don't know what's happening around there, but maybe the fires didn't go quite as far as they should have.
To be fair,
oh my goodness.
The squatters were white, black, and Mexican, so we pretty much only were missing.
They were DEI squatters.
They had everybody covered.
They had an equal representation. The reason
one last thing, and we're talking about racism in America. So I called the police because there was people standing in front of my house at like 6:30 in the morning, and we're getting ready to leave for work. I don't like.
Hold on, Marcus, you just told me that all the police were all shooting all the black people. So
let me. Can I finish my story? I just said there were some unknown individuals in my neighborhood that were
probably just tenants. They probably
hanging around.
I was gonna say they're the squatting neighbors.
Yeah, they were squatting neighbors. So I didn't.
Every time the cops do a neighborhood walk, I call the cops and be like, yo, there's people here I don't recognize. You know?
But they
just moved in.
Yeah. And so I called the cops. They took 29 minutes to get there. I can't
believe they didn't rush right over.
I got to emphasize this. I bullshit you not. 2 weeks later, a bunch of dudes were hanging out in front of my house before I'm going to work. I'm not trying to leave my house empty when they're standing out in front of it. I said there's 4 black guys in front of my house.
this story's taking a twist.
3 minutes. The cops were there. Versus the previous call where I didn't give it.
Did you tell them when you talked about the squatters, did you say, and one of them is black? Because by your logic, they'd be there in 9 minutes.
No, the first time I called, I didn't give any descriptive factors. I said there's suspicious people in front of my house. They didn't ask me any descriptive factors. I gave them my address. I told them what was happening. 29 minutes. I was looking out of my second story window at these people. And I was like, damn, I'm gonna be late to work. I called my job and said I'm gonna be late to work today. The second time I called, I said there's 4 black guys in front of my house. 3 effing minutes.
Okay, so hold on, real quick. What time did you call about the squatters? What time of day was it?
Same time.
Same exact time. It was first thing in the morning. You woke up here like, I'm calling these fucking
pre-7 o'clock. Dude, because my dad was.
You're lying. I think you called the squatters during shift change.
Okay, let me tell you something. My dad was LAPD. Okay. My dad was.
What is your dad?
Yeah, around cops.
We need to have your dad on here and talk about his experience.
You don't want to talk to my dad. He's probably worse than me.
No, well, I mean,
he hates white people.
No, he does not, because he hangs out. He's retired down in Delray Beach, Florida.
Yep,
and he hangs around a bunch of you people, going golfing and stuff. We call him
Mar-a-Lago.
No, we call him Clayton Bigsby and all kinds of other stuff.
So let me hold on. So your dad goes and makes a good career for himself. He earns a nice paycheck, invests his money well. He says, I want to go live at the beach, and his own people going to be the ones dragging him down.
That's what we do. That's what
I'm telling you, but that's what I'm saying. There is also a component, I think, in this issue. And like that's just the truth. I think that there's again, like I said, there's guilt on all sides.
I think that's Americanism at this point, because we're dragging each other down with the way we vote for certain people. Tub, I don't want to dismiss your segment. My bad.
And honestly, Tub segment, there's really no need for Michael White to be here if he's got to go.
I do. It's 9:15. I need to get off here. I have not eaten anything yet. I just got home and I told Eric, text me. I was like, I'm going to get on there as soon as I get home. And that's exactly what I did.
Oh, so you honored your word as a Republican. I did.
Yeah. Because I've honored my word every time I've given it, whether I'm a Republican, a libertarian, an independent, I'm still Michael. And I'm supposed to be recognized as an individual. Thank you. And not a member of some collective political group. And
I refuse to do that.
That's the most libertarian thing you can do if you're really the only real one out there.
I am the only real libertarian. I'm going to thank you for jumping in.
Michael, seriously, I do. I love you guys. You're awesome. I will try to be on here the next time we have it. At the start of it, I'll try to be a little more on time. But
I would just like to say that Marcus likes the fact that he can now say he has a Republican friend.
That's right. Yeah. Hey, you can put that on the resume, and you might.
My first one was Lily Tang.
All you gotta do, see, Lily Tang? Yeah. Well, all you gotta do now when you call, if you have the same problem, just say, there's 3 black guys outside my house, and I'm a Republican.
I think you 1 minute.
If you knew where I live, you know that's not a threat.
No matter what it is, there's 3 black guys.
I do love you guys. I'll talk to you later, okay?
Hold on.
Right, later.
Okay, bye.
Take care.
Okay, bye. I love you. Enjoy.
Okay, we just went seriously Brokeback Mountain with Eric. Voice cracking and everything.
Look, I thought I was getting off too.
I love you. Don't go. I love you. Come back.
Please come back. And then he grabbed his microphone with 2 hands.
Come back.
Both hands.
Michael, don't leave me here with the black guys.
Oh, dude, hey Marcus, I'm gonna pull like your libertarian card and kind of your black card for like first calling the cops when you have a problem. Like that's some social bull crap. You know what I mean? I thought you were into guns. I thought you concealed carry. Why didn't you go out there and let's lift your shirt up and be like, do we have a problem? You know what I mean? Like, what's up? Are you outnumbered? Those guys got bigger guns.
Forgive me, but you don't shit where you eat, bro. You don't shit where you eat.
Why didn't you roll out there tagged up with a grenade pin in your mouth and be like, what's going on?
Because I have enough white neighbors to make them think it wasn't me.
Because then they'd have caught the white neighbors would have caught a cop on you. There's 5 black men outside.
I went outside and said, hey, man, you better watch out for these crackers over there, bro. They ain't about that life, bro. I had to
You called the cops on the floor, black guys in the neighborhood. Called the cop on the floor.
No. I learned that wasn't me intentionally calling the black guys. That was me understanding the name of the game. I said there was 4 people outside of my house looking suspicious. Half an hour. I said there was 4 black guys. It was reduced by 10 times to 3 minutes. So
I think you found the way to call the cops. I think you just solved your own problem is what you did.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what it is now, hey, these 4 black guys were stealing my TV guide.
Well, there you go. You
TV
know,
guide.
we don't have
Oh,
hubcaps, but I was afraid of them stealing my hubcaps.
Dude, Eric, if you're threatening to take his black card, it's time. It's time.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm just saying, libertarian first move is call the cops. Come on, man, go talk to them.
That wasn't the first move. Because okay, I got you. I can shut both of you up right now. When not me, but when the cops eventually busted the house, they were burglars, porch pirates, and identity thieves.
Yeah.
When they eventually,
you could have been a vigilante. Batman.
I could have.
Black
But
man.
where am I supposed to move? Am I supposed to move to Jacksonville, Florida, by people like Tubb when their fellow gang members
we don't
come
have
after
that problem
me?
here. I never called the cops.
I wouldn't want to move to Jacksonville, though.
Yeah.
People in
I don't
Florida
think I've
don't even go
ever
to
called the
Jacksonville.
cops. I've never called the cops in my life.
Yeah, but I also had children to protect, so you guys can call it how you want it.
Well,
But
I can neither confirm nor deny anything about children right now at this moment, okay? But
okay.
I'm just saying, I'm just kidding. I don't know. All right.
Can we finish Tubb segment so I don't have to look
Well,
at
we
you?
never started Tubb segment.
We never started to. I can scrap it if we need to. We're already an hour and 20 in.
We can do another 5 to 8 minutes of Tubb.
I can do the rest of the night if I can go get another beer. So, Tubb, go ahead. Get started.
The only 3 black men on here.
Another beer.
So Eric dipped out for mine. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So my issue has been, because I've been pretty vocal throughout the whole process about how the Libertarian Party kind of took on the whole free Ross thing. And my complaint has been one that says, hey, I think we went too far with this. I think that we gave up too much for this. And I made it pretty clear. I said, listen, I'm not against the concept of freeing him, but it's also not the role of a political party to focus on freeing one man in this situation. And so I've been pretty vocal against that in many ways. I've been kind of saying it. And people have tried to come after me. Libertarians tried to come after me. Suggesting things that I never said, stuff along those lines. So here's what I've noticed. That what it's turned into now, especially over the past couple of days since Ross did get freed, the party has turned ugly. And here's what happened. Like, there's certain voices inside the party that are pretty well-known voices. And they're making comments about how, well, you know what? If you didn't support this from the start, you might as well just leave the party. And what it is that they've made this dualism, this duality thinking that says either you are for it or you're completely against everything. And I'm like, and I tried to explain to him, like, no. I said, I can be for freeing Ross, but I can also say, hey, I think we went too far. And so what they're pushing now is, hey, you must be against this because we don't just see it the way they see it. And now they're saying that, hey, people like me, for example, should be out of the party. So I'm looking at this and I go, well, something that could have been unifying us is only making it worse. And here's the problem. A number of the people who are saying, hey, this is more important, and just because you can't get on board with this makes you wrong, or you're not the libertarian, or you need to get out, are all the same people that were just a year and a half ago complaining because it was happening to them the other way. They're the ones who were like, when they didn't agree with it, like, why should we have to leave? We're just going to try to fix the party. And I'm like, wait a minute, now you're being those people. And I'm going to tell you what, right now, I made a post, and I don't usually get too involved, but I made a post on one of David Smith's posts. Because he was one of the ones going, you shouldn't even be in this party. Like, you should be gone. Because I'm like, well, hang on. It's not as simple as you are against this. They're not willing to say, hey, wait a minute. I could be for Ross being freed and be against the fact that I don't agree with what we gave up to get it. And so now the issue inside the party is it's causing this split where now they're suggesting that if you weren't on board with this from the very beginning, we don't care about everything we gave up. In fact, how do you refer to it? That you're allergic to success. You're allergic to winning. That became their mantra. Remember a few months back when they started doing that? And I said, hold on. I can disagree with how how this got done, but still be happy that it got done. And so now I don't know what's going to happen inside the party, because I'm looking at this and I'm going, okay, the same people there that are mad are now trying to kick the other people out of it because you don't see it exactly the way I see it.
Well,
And
isn't Voltaire that says, don't let the perfect stop progress? Or I'm paraphrasing that. Don't let the
of the good.
Yeah, don't let perfect be the enemy of the good. Yeah. So my thing is, like, why I'm concerned that this wasn't their strategy from the beginning to get Ross free. And there's been a conspiracy theory that their whole goal was to get Trump reelected. Mm-hmm. But it is a major success from the liberty movement, not just the Libertarian Party, that Ross Ulbricht got pardoned. It's kind of a big deal. So that's what I'm saying. Like, and although I'm with you, Tub, and I think Marcus, like, I don't think the leadership of the Libertarian Party should be helping the candidates of the Republican parties or Democrat Party win elections and win re-elections. That's not our job.
Let's talk real about America. Who's going to remember Ross Ulbricht being freed in 2028?
Nobody.
No. There's not going to be one libertarian it's going to matter to.
No. I think libertarians will remember. Libertarians will remember.
I don't think they will.
It's on the new. No, I think they will. I mean, like, I'll let you mark the calendar and ask me, hey, you remember what happened 4 years ago? Whenever Justin Amash runs as a libertarian and wins the election to president as a libertarian in 2028, and we're having hey, we had him on 4 years ago episode, and we're doing this 4 years from now, you can say, hey, do you remember what the last president accomplished? And if I don't remember, I'm just saying, like, I think libertarians will remember. But most people outside of libertarian circles had no idea who he was in the first place. And I see it on the news now, and they're calling it a controversial pardon by Trump. So I'm just saying, I think libertarians will remember. I found out who he was through Tom Woods and Michael Malice, and I went to a Tom Woods show in Orlando, and I was like, it was like 2000 episode or whatever, and Lynn, Ross's mother, spoke about getting him freed, and that's where, like, a lot of people are like, oh, either whoever, like Mises Caucus or Angela McArdle, deserves all the credit, and I'm like, no, I think his mother deserves the most credit. And she's been doing this for 10 years. You know what I mean?
That's what Trump referred to. Hey, what the hell is the LPDC?
Libertarian Party, Duval County.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
I should just remove this comment because I don't care about that.
All right, so here's what happens. So I'm going to tell her, no, I am not. I've already said that I'm giving up my position in the local affiliate as the vice chair. And then, so no, I will not step into that role. Now here's the thing. I think that what was happening now, the Free Ross took on a life of its own. If you think about it, it's been maybe after the election a little bit, where the Libertarians leadership, the chair and all, really started pushing it more because they realized all of the other things that they were getting they aren't getting. And so this became a thing that if we start pushing this and pushing this forefront, this will make it seem like we've been winning. And so, like, my complaint is, I said, okay, this is great. I am not against what the chair did to get our voice involved in this. I'm not angry with that at all. But that, to me, does not support the party of what we should be doing. Because I say, why don't we look at real parameters? Why don't we look at membership? Let's look at what elections that we won. Let's look at raising funds. All of those things are down. And I think that what's happening is this Free Ross thing is a smoke screen to avoid all the real things that we should be focusing on that are failing miserably. And so So I just look at him. I'm angry because now the fight is to, like, the comment I made was like, listen, I don't think we can afford to be even more fragmented than we are as a Libertarian Party. Because if you like the idea that we had this much force that we could affect freeing Ross, you splinter us more and you can forget about it. This was not going to be a one time. This is going to be an only time thing that we were able to do this. I'm looking at the party and I'm going, I don't understand how these are the people who are so mad because 2 years ago, this is what was being said about them. And they're like, oh, you can't stop just because we want to. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, you're doing it. And they don't see it. I think my complaint is how they will blindly support the chair. And they won't, like, now they won't even say anything. And I'm looking at this, like, and they're stepping out. Like, I had other conversations with somebody else, and I'm just like, wait a minute. Why don't we just focus on the fact, okay, this is good. No, like, don't say we were against it when we're just against the way that we had to accomplish it. But they're trying to make it a wholesale thing.
They are. So I will say this to the current Libertarian leadership, because this should be merit-based and on results. 2016, 4.3 million votes for the Libertarian candidate. 2024, under 700,000, roughly 650,000 votes that Libertarians got.
California's still counting.
RFK Jr. got more votes as on ballots, and he wasn't in all 50 states.
And he dropped
Neither
out.
was the Libertarian Party, but he got more votes than the Libertarian Party candidate. And I'm not blaming Chase whatsoever. I'm going to reach out to him and get him on. Hopefully we can get him on in February. But I want to talk to him about what he thought about this and his support from the National Party, because our dear friend Michael White did not get any support from the National Party. And I think you can run down the line of Libertarian candidates that could say the same thing. Now, at the most basic level, when we talk about Democrats and Republicans, they're getting basic party support from their infrastructure at every level of the game. If you're not going to be at every level of the game, how do you call yourself a national party? When you got beat by the Green Party, and I don't know anybody who belongs to the Green Party, and I know people of all political. How many Americans know people that belong to the Green Party, and they got more votes than us as Libertarians?
When I was campaigning I met in Jacksonville, I met one guy who was a part of the Green Party, and he was like a hippie, and he was selling like tie-dye t-shirts. And I tried telling him, like, hey, like, let's, don't take this the wrong way, build a coalition for third party and work on ballot access stuff. And you know what I mean? And he straight up said, like, the Green Party's not ready to run local candidates. Like, they weren't ready to run local candidates in Jacksonville. He told me that. So, I don't.
So here's
I know one.
Which of those any of those parties, even the Green Party and stuff, but definitely the Republicans and Democrats. If we suggest we want to play in the same game that Republicans and Democrats are in, then we got to change our mentality and our thinking, because I can assure you of this: any one of those other two parties, if their chair had such miserable parameters in their guidelines, like less money, less elections, less membership, and then they openly supported a candidate of another party, I can assure you that person would be removed with quickness. Now, I want to say, make something very clear. I had somebody try to come at me and be like, well, you're trying to get rid of Angela. I said, oh, hang on. Never through this process have I ever said remove Angela. I never have. What I want her to do is lead properly. That's been my biggest complaint. Like, hey, just lead properly. Do what you're supposed to do. But what I am saying, though, we will never be taken serious when we allow stuff like this to happen. When we allow our party and major voices in our party and leadership in our party openly support another candidate from another party, that's a problem. And like what I mentioned to Eric when we were talking before, I said, here's the thing. I said, I don't care who libertarians vote for. I don't care. Like, I don't care if you're a registered libertarian and you voted for Donald Trump. I don't care. Here's what I'm saying. If you are leadership of the party in particular, if you're a leadership of the Libertarian Party and you're going to vote for Donald Trump, shut up. You shut up. You don't say it openly. You toe the party line like you're supposed to. And when the time comes, you get up there to vote for whoever you want. But I look as I go, it's absurd that we are a bunch of children who can't, like we say we want to have these things and we want to be taken seriously. Why? We don't even take ourselves seriously. We have no direction, no focus. Anything that looks like a political party is not us. And so I look as I go, this is unacceptable. But we'd rather argue and fight over the things that don't matter. And we're falling for it because they're taking the attention away from the three major things that a political party should be about. And something's going to have to give. So, like, if they're just going to say, hey, leave the party, then okay. Let's say all of us who disagree with the fact of what they're saying, that we all decide, okay, fine, we're going to leave. Well, where do you think that's going to leave the party? Because there are a lot of people on this side, like more of where I am, like not angry that it happened, but I think we gave up too much as a party to get a voice inside of it. And not to mention all the other things that we were going to get, we did not get. The promise of the Libertarian candidate, overlook that. All these other things, I'm like, these people are now coming on and they're complaining. Hey, Trump's appointing this person. Trump's doing this. Trump's doing that. I'm like, well, dude, no. You put that in. You wanted that because all of a sudden you wanted to be seen as a kingmaker. But are you becoming a kingmaker? You shouldn't be fussing when you openly supported and endorsed the Republican as a libertarian. You get what you get, dude.
Yeah. So let me
ask. Hear me out.
Okay.
If they appoint Larry Sharp, the chairman of the Department of Education, right now, I will concede that they got a libertarian in office.
Yes,
they're in a cabinet position.
That was my next question because Trump said he would appoint a libertarian to the cabinet.
Yeah.
Who is that guy? I followed this closely. I have not heard a damn word about Larry Sharp being the Secretary of Education, whatever the hell that is, the department they want to abolish.
Yeah. Well, that's why he'd be great because he'd come in, but we're shutting down shop and taking it back to the states. Well, but that's they're trying. So Marcus,
making a black guy the scapegoat.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, I get your point. Like, oh, all right. Well, let's pick a white Spike Cohen can take the position. I don't care.
He's not taking it. Yeah, I got you.
No. But what Tobe was saying is, RFK, and by they I mean like Angela McArdle was trying to say, well, technically RFK Jr. is a lifetime member. He paid the couple grand, whatever it is, to be a lifetime member of the Libertarian Party, and he was registered Libertarian in the state of California. My argument to that is he originally ran as a Democrat in the Democrat primaries. Therefore, this election cycle, he wasn't. Now, hear me out. Had RFK Jr. campaigned as a libertarian from the beginning, he probably could have won our nomination.
Yes.
Like,
right.
And he could have convinced us. Yeah, I'm just saying he could have broke a record for a libertarian, but he's not libertarian enough to be willing to run as a libertarian from the beginning. Therefore, I don't consider him as the nominee. And as much as you guys know, I like him. I like Massey and Amash and Rand Paul. If Massey got appointed to Department of Ag, I wouldn't have counted it. He's a Republican. Rand Paul wouldn't have counted it. And Amash, because his last run for Senate was a Republican. If it was after that run, I probably wouldn't have counted that either. That's what I'm saying. Like, we need somebody that's been in the party and involved for a while for that to be considered the libertarian. That's all I'm saying.
So two things. One is like what you just said. We got to understand what they're referring to as the libertarian was the guy who tried to run as a Democrat, who then started his own party to run as an independent, is now all of a sudden who then gave in and supported and endorsed the Republican. That's the Libertarian. And I go, wait a minute. You had to do a lot of mental gymnastics to suggest that he's the Libertarian in the candidate. It's not there. Now, here's the other thing. So I pulled up the information for the lady who is running for Department of Education Secretary. Okay, Linda McMahon. Now this is the bio that she has.
Vince McMahon's wife.
Yes, she's the co-founder of WWE. But here's what they talk about. McMahon 76 played a pivotal role on Trump's transition team and served as administrator for Small Business Administration during Trump's first term. So let's be very clear. That's politics as usual. That's, hey, I'll give you a spot. We'll play the good old boy. This is all. And I'm like, this is the same thing. Because listen, libertarians will be the first ones to tell you to get rid of the Department of Education. We will all press on that one. And that's why you said, hey, what about Larry Sharp? Let's put Larry Sharp. There's no real talk. And we're sitting back and we're talking about, hey, we're doing great because we got Ross free. No, we didn't. Let's be very clear. Like you mentioned, his mom's already been putting that work in all this time.
Yeah.
And so Angela jumped onto it to try to make a name and try to get some involvement because everything else was failing. And she saw an opportunity here where she might be able to get something to salvage herself. But what they ended up doing was supporting the guy that they knew and were just complaining about horribly for 4 years. And they actively stepped outside of the party to endorse that. And now they're surprised that things aren't going the way they thought. Well, what did you expect to happen? And now they're trying to tell us that we're wrong because we're not buying into this.
Let's be clear about one thing here about Trump. And I'm going to be very blunt as to why I don't like him. Because when the COVID thing hit, the first time I read about COVID was in November 2019. And literally, I'm a survivalist by nature. I'm an ammo hoarder, a commodities hoarder, and I was ready. I had more than enough water, toilet paper, and ammo to handle any situation that could have occurred. But the only reason Biden had the wherewithal and the mandate to do what he did is because Trump
put it all in,
started putting it in place as soon as January 2020. He started putting everything in place to give the government even more power than it needed to handle the COVID situation. That's why I don't like Trump.
And so many libertarians agreed with you with what you just said. And they agreed with that, and they were angry about that, how they would never support him. And then all of a sudden, we turned our party over to him.
Yeah, exactly. And so I cannot for the life of me understand the short-term memory of Americans that don't see that fact and don't that affected my family very personally because my son lost a year of baseball.
Yep.
He got 9 years into his junior season of his baseball career and it was shut down. And then my kids stood home for a year and a half while the government said it was too dangerous for them to go outside in the UV rays of God's sun to go out there and play when nothing lives, no microorganism can survive UV rays of being outside. There is AIDS, HIV, COVID, the flu. No microorganism can survive UV rays for an extended period of time past 4 to 5 seconds. And my kids were denied that.
And all of that is now forgotten.
All of it's forgotten.
Right. And so I'm looking at this and I go, well, there's our problem. And this is why I'm struggling with the party, honestly. Because it's stuff just like this, and the fact that they've truly turned into, if you don't like it, you leave, and they've made this straw man argument of, well, if you're not for us and you're against, you just don't want to win, and you just hate success. No, that's not it at all. And if we can see the situation, the free raw situation for what it is, it's good. It's not our purpose as a political party. And let's be very clear. It wasn't the Libertarian Party that made that happen. Okay. So when we look at those things, I go, that's great. Can we focus on what's important? And they absolutely refuse to. The talking heads and the leaders of the party don't want to do that.
No.
So I look at I started saying, how do we move forward? Like I'm looking at this and I go, we're fractured in a mess anyway, because if you notice, we've stopped talking about how the party turned against our own candidate. We don't even talk about that anymore. That's done. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I would rephrase what you just said to how do we consort with the enemy?
Right.
Because it's the enemy of liberty. One reason why I dislike Republicans is because they pretend to be about liberty. They want to sell you the message of liberty.
Yep.
But the thing, my dad told me a long time ago, and a lot of people are going to like this, but my dad told me a long time ago he had more respect for a Klan member than he had for the dude that worked across the hall from him in his corporate job, because he knew where the Klan member stood.
Yep.
But he knew the guy across the hall from him talked crap about him in a very negative connotation behind his back. But in his face, he was friendly and cooperative. And
so, how do we look at our party and say, because don't we always want to suggest that we are the party of principles? You hear that all the time. And I go, nope, you cannot say that anymore. You no longer get the pass of saying we're the party of principles. No, you're not. You're the party of whoever will give us a little bit of attention. We'll be on their team now. Because that's exactly what happened. Our leadership got a little bit of attention and they were willing to sell out the whole party for it. So like what I was saying earlier, I don't care who any of the leadership voted for. I don't care. But you have to stand out in front of the party and you walk that party line. You support the party. And if you don't want to, like, if you want to look at that and say, hey, well, I'm the chair or whatever, but I want to support this person, then leave your position. Then at that point, go, hey, listen, I'm not going to do what's truly best for the party, for a political party. So I'm going to step down or I'm going to leave, whatever it is. You don't do that from the top. Like, as I lead the church, if I start telling everybody, we have a horrible church, let's support everybody should leave here and go to the church around the corner. That would be absurd. Nobody would be like, hey, that's not how you lead an organization. You lead an organization based on improving it.
That's exactly what Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, and Elon Musk did. All former Democrats that switched sides when the other side came in power, and they didn't kiss the ring. They kissed the pale butthole of politicians. That's what they did.
Nailed it.
That's what
or
they did.
The orange butthole, if you will.
Well, no, because he only wears orange on his face. He's a
So
pink.
who faults Kennedy right now? I don't fault Kennedy. Kennedy played
I don't.
politics.
My thing is like
just like Bezos, Musk, and Zuckerberg did. They all play the game, and that's where Americans don't understand. You're not in the game. George Carlin has been saying, if you follow George Carlin, he's been saying this for 30, 35 years. You're not in the game. You don't understand.
Yeah.
You're not in this whatsoever. And people think that their voice matters. You get told that's what the culture wars are. The culture wars have no substance. They don't belong to anything, because all you're asking is government to dictate your free association with other people. That's all it is. And we talked about this before. Right now, they're saying, we don't want you to take your kids to drag shows at libraries. If that's what you don't want, don't take your kids there. But you're saying nobody else can take their kids there. When the other side wins, and they will win, how are they not going to say, we don't want to take your kids to Tubbs Church?
Right.
Because Tubbs Church will dominate you with this particular philosophy.
Yep. I said, that's why, even though I'm not an advocate, I know not what this topic is, but I was never an advocate of like people taking their kids to those shows. I'm like, but you know what? That's up to them. It's their parents. I said, because what happens when it goes the other way? When they go, hey, we think it's wrong to take your kids to church. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't want to do it. So that's why I'm like, you know what? Listen, their parents, do what you want to do. I don't have to agree with it. So anyway, so all of that. So I'm going to close up my segment so we can be done. So I look at it and I go, I don't agree with what we've done to the party. I don't agree with the way that we got a voice supposedly for Free Ross. Yes, I'm glad he is out. Fine. I got no issue with that at all. And I refuse to be thrown into this group of people that says, well, we don't understand it and we don't get it simply because we decided to say, hey, it's good that he's out, but I think we gave up too much of us to accomplish this. And so I refuse to just sit back, I guess, and allow them to basically do to us what they didn't like being done to them 2 years ago.
Right.
So I want to add to that and make the point that Trump knew about Ross Ulbricht in his first term because Thomas Massey had already brought it up to him. Mm-hmm. And he chose not to pardon him then. So now maybe he felt like this is the one thing I could do to get the libertarian vote. And I don't know if, Angela McArdle is a member of the CIA or was a member of Trump's team before or what. I don't know. We could talk about conspiracy theories later. Maybe we should try to have her on the podcast and see if she answers some questions.
You guys reach out. I can't. I can't.
Well, would you have her on, Marcus?
Absolutely. Everybody deserves a voice.
Yeah.
I posted a meme today about the First Amendment. Is the right to free speech is only protects you from the government. It doesn't protect you from your fellow Americans.
Hey, Tub, if I had her on, would you be here to ask her about everything?
Yes.
All right. I think I'm going to reach out.
Okay. Yeah, because she's already started specifically coming after me about stuff.
Yeah. And I'll be like, hey, look, just so you know, I'll tell her, like, you might be coming to unfriendly territory. You know what I mean? We all might have her.
Just tell her that, we're going to challenge her.
We're going to shoot it. We're going to shoot it straight, and we're not going to take it easy, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
All right. I'll reach out, see what I can do. Any of our followers, if you see this and you have her ear to bend, please let me know. I'll ask and say, so we got a couple guests for the next couple weeks, but we'll see if we get her on. Maybe the winds of change will have died down by then. You know what I mean? So it'll be a little more chill.
Well, I'm hoping that now that the Free Ross thing is done, and that's going to fade off here pretty quickly. I think realistically, quickly.
It will. It won't be remembered next week. It's done next week. Nobody's going to give a crap about it next week because Americans have short attention spans. I don't know these weird noises coming from Tub with. I don't know what he's touching below his waist right now. No, I'm not even.
My wife's out of town, so listen. The dog is just running around here and being a dog. So.
Okay.
Right. So what are you gonna do? You gonna call the cops and tell them, hey, there's a black guy with a dog out there? You need to make that stop.
No, I definitely won't do that. I'm going to 100% say there's this crazy Neanderthal dude that's molesting a dog. That's how I'm gonna go with it. Bro.
This is Florida. That doesn't even get it. If you thought 20 minutes was a long time to the other one, you can make that call. Ain't nothing happening.
So,
on the west side, that would be
that kind of alluded to my point of the only damn racism that exists in America now is in the judicial system. Because if they see your lily white ass coming outside, they were like, "There's no problem here. What's going on?"
They'd be like, "You're one of us."
And when I say Lily, I truly mean Lily.
Listen, you say that, but out of the two of us, I think I'm blacker than you. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I've never called the cops about some people being out in the street. Like, I didn't get all scared. I don't want them in my neighborhood. Like, I didn't do none of that, dude. So
you can call me out on that. I shouldn't have told you that.
Crying.
Hardly crying, bro. Bro, I don't cry when I got Aston Glock on my side.
Now they got to say you're threatening.
Oh, now you got it. But when there were a couple of questionable people in my driveway,
I had to go to work. I'm not leaving those GBs.
No black man at all.
I'm not leaving some questionable GBs in front of my house.
GBs, is that what is that?
The
Gangbangers?
word is Jigga.
Oh.
I thought you meant gangbanger. Like, all right, so what colors were they repping? You know what I mean?
I told you the first crowd was multicultural. The second crowd was 4 of us.
Four of us.
No,
More
Libertarians?
importantly, you're like just calling them a crowd. there's 4 people. That's
4
somebody's
libertarians.
from across the street was heading out to get in their minivan, and you call the cops on them. Dude,
This
you're
is
getting
the Black
soft.
Powder
That
Podcast.
HOAs make you soft.
This has been the Black Powder Podcast, the only real libertarian podcast
That calls the cops on people.
On Earth, this universe, and in this cosmos, I don't want to say led, but conspired to by the only real libertarian, myself, Marcus Matthews, and I am closing out with my host, Tub. Tub, do you have a sentence you want to say to the people as we leave?
No. Listen,
that's good enough for me. You said no. And then my bad, because all 3 of us are hosts. We're not anything.
For the record, Marcus, I'm going to cut you off now. I'm perfectly fine with being called co-host because this is your creation, man. You invited me and I think Tub on when we were candidates. I think Tub came on. Right, Tub? Did you ever come on here when you were candidates?
You brought Tub on. Yeah.
Right.
Eric,
after the fact. Shows.
I brought Tub on.
Eric recommended Tub for a host on this podcast.
Well, I brought Tub on when he was
I came
state chair or vice chair.
Yeah.
That's why I brought you on.
Yeah.
So, but Tub and I ran when we were in Jacksonville. All I'm saying is, Marcus, this is your creation, and I respect that. And you're great at growing an audience and appealing to the broad expanses of the interwebs. I think that's important for us to remember as libertarians, is that philosophically, we know we're right and we're the greatest political philosophy for society to succeed, but we got to figure out a way to appeal to the masses. Let's keep that in mind. There's a lot of people out there, they don't think like we do, but we can point out some common sense solutions to them, and they might just come in they might move towards us and join us in our philosophy, our political philosophy.
Agreed.
So that's all I got to say is, let's keep this thing going.
Tub, I want to give you a last word before I close this out. You have approximately 2 minutes.
I don't even need it. I don't even need it. I've said my piece. We're going to move forward, and we'll fuss more about the party next time.
As we like to say, as we end the Black Powder Podcast, the only real libertarian podcast, live free or die. This has been
or die.
Black Powder Podcast. Thank you all for listening, watching, whatever you're doing. Tub, you're a weirdo. Eric, I like you. I like you too, Tub, but you both.
I don't need your liking me.
You do need it. I don't know why somebody just there's been like 2 people that just joined within the last. It's
Alfred Aguilar on Facebook is tired.
For real.
Well, I want to tell everybody real quick about Alfred Aguilar before we leave. He belongs to this special needs group that I mentor in my and he's one of those kids that doesn't walk straight and can't think for himself. So I want to thank him for chiming in. Yeah, basically he's a Democrat and he works in government. So he's a Democrat.
What branch left out him?
I can't divulge all of that, but let me just tell you, Alfred has I think when I looked at his file, it was like a 59 or 60 IQ. So he's not there with.
Oh, so he's your boss.
He quite possibly. I volunteer with him, so I don't appreciate you saying he's my boss because that
makes
boss.
Are you a coach at the Special Olympics or?
No, I mentor special needs kids so they can learn how to like change out tires and recycle aluminum cans and stuff like that.
So you found
That's
a
what I
piece
do
of what
for
you
Alfred.
pass off to these kids. That's it. That's all you got for them. Hey,
Yeah, that's all I
maybe
got.
next week you teach them how to call the cops on people.
I'm gonna end this
Say
podcast
black
on
man.
that note. So thank you very much for listening, watching.